I've come to the conclusion that you can't come on a road trip anywhere in the UK without facing at least one day of this, or at least a sizable portion of your road trip with driving torrential rain. And as a landscape photographer, it feels absolutely hopeless.
This video is sponsored by Elements Photography magazine.
Now, the truth of the matter is that despite the rain, I still have to make a video. I don't have to make a video today, but when I come away on a trip like this in the van with my camera gear, I want to be productive, I want to take advantage of everything. So there's two ways I can look at this. I can either choose to wallow in my van all day and all of tomorrow morning, maybe get a bit of photography tomorrow afternoon and then go home. Or I can try and adopt more of a positive attitude, try and embrace the wind and the rain, or at least the rain anyway. Wind's difficult to embrace. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to embrace this weather. I am determined to get one photograph, a good one today, and use this to my advantage. Because it's true, there's no such thing as bad light or bad weather for photographers, really. It's more down to a poor choice of subject and location. Anyway, let's see if we can put that to the test. But first, I'm making a coffee. So it can be hard to motivate yourself when it's like this. If you look out of your bedroom window or your van window and you just see heavy rain and wind and greyness, it's really difficult to actually get up, get out and see what's out there. But the truth is, once you do get out, once you sort of step out of your comfortable abode into the rain and the misery, it's okay, it's fine, it's never as bad as you think it's going to be. So my approach to a day like today, first of all, is mindset. I genuinely believe I can get a great image today. I mean, it doesn't mean I'm going to, but I know that it's possible. Now, as much as I can waterproof myself, I can't waterproof my camera gear. Like say I forgot my umbrella, I don't have any kind of waterproof covers for it or anything like that. But I have full faith in the waterproofing or the weather sealing of my camera. The one I'm using here is a Nikon Z7 II. I'm also thinking I'm going to leave my tripod behind. Now, I don't typically like doing that, but because of the heavy rain, I don't want my camera just sitting there on a tripod. I think I'll be able to work much faster and much more agile and much more agilitably. I'll be able to be far more agile without the tripod, so the camera will be exposed to weather for the minimal amount of time. So all I need to do now is finish my coffee and then head off in search for a location that is far more suited to these weather conditions. Right, so we're at a location that looks quite promising. It's called 𝘧𝘧𝘪𝘭𝘪𝘢𝘴, and yeah, from what I've seen briefly online, it looks like there's some potential here, some nice walks. It's in a valley. It's still chucking it down, but I guess it's better than being on the exposed coast. Well, believe it or not, it's actually stopped raining, at least for the time being, but I just don't trust it. So all I've got in here is my Nikon Z7 II with a 24-70 lens, all in this nice dry bag so it's protected. But yeah, I mean, if it stays like this, brilliant, but I'm not convinced it's gonna. So we'll have a walk and we'll see what we see. I've changed my mind, I want my tripod. It's getting dark. Just as we set off with the tripod, the rain's come back, and it's come back with a vengeance. You can just see ribbons of showers blowing through the valley. So I need to get into some woods or something just to get out of this, man. A little bit of shelter. But yeah, still beautiful though, still beautiful. So I was reluctant to get the camera out and film until I found something, so apologies for the lack of B-roll. This is beautiful though. I don't even care that I'm wet. It's a bit of a hindrance because it makes things like filming difficult, but the atmosphere that it gives is fantastic. And we just happen to have a wonderful lone tree with beautiful colours in the foreground, yellows and golds and greens. and the tree itself, which is the main subject. In the background, we still have the clear shape of the valley and the hills, but it's just lost behind a veil of heavy rain, which just gives so much atmosphere. So it feels like quite a painterly image. Although we don't have light, which is the main ingredient in landscape photography, you could argue the mist, the rain, the ambience, yeah, that's a good substitute for light. I'm not even sure my trusted Fuji and the tank, the waterproof tank that is Nikon, can handle this, man. It's just crazy, crazy, crazy. Yeah, get out of here. Well, I'm not sure if this shot's going to work or not, but these three trees on the bank really caught my eye, and there's something so painterly about them. I think it's the turning of the autumn colour as the bracken begins to die off and turn brown, and these three trees are so characterful and shapely, and just the whole thing just looks fantastic. I guess the only problem is well, it's going to be the water on the lens. That's going to be the main issue, because as you can see, difficult to keep dry. But yeah, man. It's nice. You know, the great thing about this as well is there's no one else around, so perfect for me. Absolutely perfect. Oh God. Oh, everything's so wet. Alright, let's get some light. And I desperately need to tidy up. Camera out. Not good, not good, not good. Back away. Oh, I put my tripods away. Yeah, man. Open some windows. Fan on. What to do with this? And get to dry with everything else. Oh. Shoe. The thing is with the van, in a heartbeat it can look like a bomb's gone off. But then, just as quickly, it can be tidied up. So we've not done too badly, with the exception of my gear, which is just drip drying onto the floor, which I'm sure can't be good. Oh. So despite the absolute faffery that you get in this van with the rain, and me going out ill-equipped, i.e. no umbrella, no waterproof cover for my camera, I actually had a fantastic time. I found it quite liberating. Now this is my notebook. This is where I write down ideas for videos, I write down ideas of photos I want to take, locations, etc, etc. And I also write down ideas for newsletters, because I'm now doing a weekly newsletter, and it's quite fitting that this idea has been written down recently. Now when I wrote this down, it was an idea for a video, but some ideas don't translate well to video, and they don't appeal to a broad audience. They may be too niche, and no one will watch them. At least that's my worry, which is why I started this newsletter. And this one here is called Why the Quality of Your Photos Doesn't Matter. Now I'm not going to go into the whole thing. This is going to be a newsletter, so if you sign up to my newsletter, there's a link in the description below, and you can also do it on my website. Now, my newsletter is one thing, but if you really enjoy reading, let me introduce you to Elements Photography magazine. So I was so happy when Elements reached out to sponsor this channel, because their landscape photography publication is up there with the absolute best. So one thing I love to do when I'm in my van in between photography shoots is to consume content, whether that's podcasts, blog posts, newsletters, reading books, or in this case, Elements magazine. And it's things like this that inspire me. There's things like this that spark ideas for my own work, for creating videos or writing newsletters or wanting to shoot images of particular styles or start photography projects. So for me, the consumption of content and constantly learning new things is probably one of the most important things that I do to benefit myself as a photographer and as a creator. So Elements is a monthly digital publication that is dedicated to landscape photography. They focus on work that is unique, creative, and the type of work that sells in fine art galleries. Now you shouldn't be intimidated by that. The work in these magazines is timeless, it's beautiful, the layout is elegant, it's spacious, like there's no text over images, there's plenty of breathing room between paragraphs and text. It really is a lovely thing to read. A great example is this edition that I'm reading right now. It features some of the best landscape photographers who have mastered the art of printing, and that's something I want to get better at. I understand the fundamentals of printing, but this is just going to give me so much insight. There's articles in here from the Ansel Adams Gallery, Bruce Barnum, Christopher Burkett, Charlie Kramer, of course, Michael Kenner. So the insights that I get from reading this magazine, this particular edition, it really is fantastic. So if you appreciate fine art landscape photography and the more traditional approach to photography, then I definitely recommend this magazine. So it's a monthly digital publication. You can pay for it quarterly or you can pay for it annually. But if you pay for it annually, then you get bonus editions or bonus issues that focus on things like autumn photography, printing, black and white photography, that kind of thing. The guys at Elements have offered a 15% discount if you use the offer code Thomas15, but that's only on the annual subscription and not the quarterly subscription. So there you go. I genuinely recommend you taking a look at this publication. If nothing else, you can indulge your landscape photography passion whilst patiently waiting for the light, or in my case, waiting for the rain to pass. For more information, go to elementsphotomag.com and use the offer code Thomas15 for that 15% discount off the annual subscription. Well, good morning everybody. I had a reasonable sleep last night, woke up this morning to the sound of rainfall and gunfire. Quite dreary outside at the minute, a bit drizzly, a bit wet, but I did check the weather forecast and it's currently about 7 a.m. sunrise, but at 9 a.m. it's supposed to be torrential rain, really heavy, but then from 10 a.m. onwards it's supposed to be sunshine all day. So it's going to be a really interesting morning, I think. Unfortunately, this morning was not a great success for me. I spent most of my time and energy walking and exploring around the hills of this steep valley. And the harder I tried to make a photograph, the harder it became to make a photograph. And by the end of the morning, I was just left with the thought about how much easier I found the photography on the previous day in that heavy rain. But that is landscape photography for you. Sometimes you just can't make images work. Okay, I need to find a shower. Okay. So I really needed a shower, and I thought my best bet for a shower was to go to a nearby campsite and ask if I can use the facilities, but it looks so nice here and the location is so convenient that I thought, you know what, I'll just inquire about staying on this campsite tonight. You know, facilities, relax, get the van nice and clean. And I'm glad I did, because it cost me £10, and for that you get use of all the facilities and the Wi-Fi. It's in a great location, it's not at all busy. So I will go and find myself a little spot. It's called Firm of Middleton's campsite on the Isle of Arran, and it was an absolute bargain. So we'll find a spot to camp and we'll have ourselves a nice shower. This'll do, right next to this picnic bench. Absolutely perfect. Oi, shower done, van's clean. All right, let's go for a drive. sun's out, which is good, but I don't think it's gonna last, so I'm gonna have to move quickly. How do you like the dreamy vignette that I've created here? Some fantastic post-production skills, I think you'll agree. Oh, unfortunately, it's all the rain that we've had in the past couple of days. All my gear's it's just broken, which is actually quite good that this is more or less the end of the trip. Anyway, I've come down to the south coast, which sounds like I've done an epic journey, but the Isle of Arran is so small, the south coast was like, well, everything feels like it's 15 minutes away. But behind me is Pladda Lighthouse. Now, I really fancied a nice, easy shoot, trudging around those trees this morning. Man, it was hard work, and I just wanted an easy life, if I'm honest with you. I want to enjoy my photography from time to time. So I've come down to the beach for a nice shoot of this lighthouse. We'll hopefully get some beautiful light as it begins to drop. But I'm not happy with the vantage point of the island from this beach. There's a road that runs sort of inland about half a mile, and it's much higher elevation. And that road looking down on the lighthouse looks phenomenal. So I've seen the lighthouse and thought, flipping heck, let's get down there and shoot it. It's a mistake. I need to go back up. So I've popped on a polarizing filter because it's quite hazy and I really want to try and make the most of that distant island. So by using a polarizer, I can cut through the haze, but the real problem that I'm having is the wind. Now that wind is blowing right into my face, into the camera lens. It's almost as if the wind is coming straight off the lighthouse. It's a southerly, so it's hitting us square on. And that's going to cause a few issues with vibrations on the camera, although I've got the tripod nice and low. So really not too much of an issue until you start to go for a longer exposure. And because of the way the sea is, the sea state, I really want to go for a longer 20 or 30 second exposure where it flattens everything out. Because what I want to create here is almost a dream-like image where we have total softness apart from the two islands, the island in the foreground, the island in the background. We've got beautiful light on the lighthouse. And I think what I'm going to do, pop on a 10 stop, like so, and we'll just go for it. I'll make sure that I'm vigilant with checking the images for any kind of vibration. But I'm kind of thinking we'll be okay down here. It's really not too bad. But oh, I'm so excited by this composition. Okay, so we are at f8, 30 second exposure. The framing of this is just so simple. I enjoy photography the most when I have to think the least. Like this morning when I was yomping around the hill, desperately trying to align trees with the mountains and the valley. It was good fun, don't get me wrong, but it was just, I don't know, I was working too hard for it, not physically, but mentally. The best images I find are those ones that almost just fall in your lap. You just see them instantly and you know what you need to do. You know the light that you need, you know the framing, the focal length, the composition, the filters, and this is one of them. And yeah, I mean, this is just fantastic. It doesn't look real. Looks like a complete, I don't know, it's just, what a wonderful image. Really happy with that. Oh, we have been blessed with light all evening. It's beautiful, which is why it pains me to leave, but I don't think there's any point in hanging around. You see, we've got this gorgeous light, although it is fading a bit now, but what's happened is the sky has dramatically changed. That image that I just captured was just perfect, exactly what I wanted, with that beautiful, hazy, soft sky and beautiful side light. And now, although we still have the light, the sky is compacted and blue sky has opened up and it's thrown the composition way off, and it's just not as good as it was. So, although we do have lovely light, I'm cold and it's windy, and I fancy an Indian. So, back to the van. lamb madras, garlic naan bread, pilau rice, and I'm very much looking forward to it and relaxing. I'm getting the ferry back home tomorrow morning, first ferry out, which I think is around about 7:30. So I'm going to eat this, relax for the evening, and done it. You know what? Just 1 second. Allow me, before I go, just to promote my landscape photography calendar. This one's it's a bit bent because it's been shoved down the passenger footwell of my van. But really proud of this. Got some 12 fantastic images on here. And the selling point of the calendar, aside from the images, is that every image has a QR code where you scan the QR code and then you can watch the video where that image was taken. That's pretty cool. Actually, I think 11 of the 12 images have that, one of them doesn't. So yeah, there we go. That's my quick plug. Link in the description below. There are very, very limited numbers, so these will be gone shortly. But yeah, that's a great way to support the channel. I release one every year. But for now, I'm just gonna tuck into this, and that's it. I'm done with you. Absolutely done. It's been a long day. All right, I'll see you next week. Cheers, guys. Bye.